The sun of Zorath-9 shone bright over the alien city, its golden rays glinting off the tall crystal towers. Lyra walked nervously through the streets, her human form drawing curious stares from every alien she passed. Her skin was soft, her hair shiny, and her eyes wide with wonder, but to the alien males, she looked strange and weak. They whispered behind her back, their strange clicks and hisses echoing through the air, making her feel small. Today was the day of the mating ceremony, a grand event where alien males chose companions. Lyra had hoped to blend in, to show she was capable, but she knew deep inside that the aliens saw her as different. Her steps faltered as she approached the ceremonial grounds, a wide open space lined with hovering platforms. Every alien male was watching, their eyes sharp and judgmental, their bodies tall and perfect in their way. A group of young males laughed when they saw her stumble, pointing their claws and shaking their heads. Lyra felt her face burn with embarrassment, but she held her head high, determined not to show fear. She remembered what the human observers had told her. Trust yourself, Lyra, humans are stronger than you think. Yet in this moment, she felt very small, an outsider in a world that didn't understand her. The chief of the ceremony, a giant with shimmering wings, stepped forward and called her name. Lyra's heart pounded as she walked toward the center, the crowd of alien males snickering with every step. They whispered things she did not understand, words full of mockery and doubt. One of the younger males even mimicked her movements, making the crowd roar with laughter. She stood in the center, hands shaking, trying to remember all the lessons she had learned. Her human strength, her quick mind, her courage, they said nothing, they only saw what they wanted. Lyra wanted to prove herself, to show them that humans were more than what they mocked. But before she could act, the laughter grew louder, a storm of voices pointing at her flaws. Then, from the edge of the crowd, she noticed a human observer, standing tall and calm. His eyes were sharp, studying her every move, and a small smile played on his lips. He did not laugh, he did not point, he simply watched, waiting for the right moment to act. Lyra felt a flicker of hope, a small spark that maybe, just maybe, someone understood her. The chief raised his arms and motioned for the next part of the ceremony, the part where alien males made their choice. Lyra's heart sank as she realized she would again face rejection, humiliation in front of everyone. Her mind raced, thinking of ways to escape, to hide, to make them see her true potential. But the human observer did not move, his gaze steady, as if saying silently, "Not yet, Lyra, not yet." As the alien males began their selection, one by one ignoring her, Lyra felt a mix of fear and anger. She clenched her fists, her knuckles white, ready to prove that humans were not to be mocked. Little did she know that the bold action of one human would soon change everything, and that the laughter of today would turn into amazement tomorrow. Lyra took a deep breath, standing tall despite the mocking eyes around her. She would not run, she would not hide, she would show them the power of a human heart. Even if they laughed, even if they refused, something extraordinary was about to begin. The human observer stepped forward, and the first spark of change lit the air around Lyra. After the ceremony, Lyra wandered through the quiet streets of Zorath-9, her steps heavy with disappointment. The laughter of the alien males still echoed in her ears, a cruel reminder of her rejection. She had tried to follow their customs, to move gracefully and speak in their tone. But nothing she did could hide the fact that she was different, a human among aliens. The cities were alive with floating lights and strange music, but Lyra felt isolated. Every face she passed seemed to judge her, their eyes sharp and cold. Even some of the younger females avoided her, fearing the same ridicule. Her human heart ached, longing for understanding, for someone to see her true worth. She returned to the small living quarters provided to her by the human observers. Captain Eric and his team watched her carefully, giving her space but never ignoring her. He had told her before, "Lyra, humans are underestimated, but they can surprise anyone." Tonight, his words felt distant, like a fragile rope she could barely hold. Lyra tried to train herself, running through the streets and climbing the crystal towers. Her muscles burned, her lungs ached, but she knew her strength was something the aliens could not understand. She experimented with alien tools, trying to find ways to show skill and intelligence. Yet every attempt was met with confusion or scorn, leaving her spirit more fragile. One night, a small group of aliens approached her quietly, their eyes curious but kind. They did not laugh or mock, only asked simple questions about her human world. For the first time, Lyra felt a small connection, a whisper of hope in her lonely life. She shared stories of Earth, of human courage and ingenuity, their eyes widening in surprise. Still, the larger crowd of alien males remained harsh, refusing to acknowledge her presence. She overheard them calling her weak, clumsy, and unworthy, words sharper than any blade. Lyra's chest ached with frustration, yet she refused to let them break her completely. Her mind turned to plans, ideas to show her strength in ways the aliens could not ignore. Days passed, and the big festival of the alien mating season drew closer. Lyra knew she would face the crowd again, their judgment heavier than ever. But she also knew something had changed within her, a courage that grew quietly. The small kindness of a few sympathetic aliens reminded her that she was not alone. Captain Eric observed silently from afar, noticing how Lyra adapted, how she learned. He began to prepare for something bold, something that might change the way the aliens saw her. Lyra had no idea yet, but the first step toward respect and admiration was near. And soon, the human spark would ignite a fire the aliens had never imagined. Lyra clenched her fists and raised her head high, standing tall despite the whispers. She could feel her human heart beating strong, defiant against the ridicule around her. The rejection and isolation had not destroyed her. It had shaped her, sharpened her. And when the right moment came, the aliens would see that humans were not to be mocked. The day of the grand gathering arrived. The sky of Zorath 9 painted in shades of violet and gold. Lyra stood at the edge of the ceremonial grounds, her heart pounding with both fear and hope. She had prepared for this moment, training her body and mind, but nothing could prepare her for what was about to happen. Captain Eric, the human observer, stepped forward boldly, his presence commanding and calm. The crowd of alien males turned their gaze on him, their eyes narrowing with suspicion and anger. He walked directly to the center of the gathering, past the sneering aliens and curious spectators. His voice carried across the grounds, clear and strong. "I propose to Lyra," he said, startling everyone. A hush fell over the crowd, broken only by whispers of disbelief and shock. Lyra froze, unsure if she should step forward or retreat, her mind racing with questions. Could she accept a human's proposal in front of these proud and judgmental aliens? Would it bring shame or admiration, ridicule or respect? She did not know. All she knew was that Captain Eric's courage had ignited something within her, a spark she could not ignore. The alien males murmured among themselves, their voices tense and sharp. Some pointed claws at Lyra, clearly angry, while others exchanged confused glances. They had never seen such boldness from a human, someone daring to challenge their customs so openly. Even the chief, with his shimmering wings, tilted his head in surprise, unsure how to respond. Captain Eric smiled slightly at Lyra, a silent message of trust and encouragement. She felt a surge of courage, realizing that she did not have to fight alone. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, meeting the eyes of every alien present. Her voice, steady and clear, echoed across the grounds. "I accept," she said, shocking everyone. The crowd erupted in chatter, some angry, some intrigued, and a few quietly impressed. For the first time, the alien males saw that Lyra was more than her human appearance. Her courage and determination shone brighter than any physical flaw. Captain Eric reached out his hand, a simple gesture, yet one filled with meaning. Lyra took it, her fingers trembling slightly, but her heart strong. Together, they stood in the center, humans united against the scrutiny of the aliens. The chief stepped forward, wings flaring, and the crowd fell silent again. He studied Lyra and Eric carefully, realizing that something extraordinary was happening. "This is unprecedented," he said slowly, his voice echoing across the grounds. "Aliens do not accept proposals like this, especially not from humans," he continued. Yet here they were, standing together, proud, defiant, and unafraid. The ground seemed to hum with tension, every eye watching, every heart waiting. Lyra felt a new power within her, a confidence born of courage and trust. She knew that this moment would change everything, not just for her, but for humans everywhere. The ridicule and laughter of the past seemed distant now, powerless against this bold step. Captain Eric squeezed her hand gently, a silent promise that the best was yet to come. The first spark had been lit, and the aliens would never see humans the same way again. A bold proposal, a human heart, and the courage to stand proud had set the stage. For Lyra, this was only the beginning, the start of proving her worth to a skeptical world. And the adventure was far from over, the trials still waiting, the story just beginning. The day after the bold proposal, Lyra stood before the Alien Council, the largest assembly of Zorath 9. Her heart pounded, but her mind was sharp, ready for the trials that would prove humanity's worth. Captain Eric stood by her side, calm and reassuring, a quiet strength in the face of alien skepticism. The aliens whispered among themselves, curious and doubtful, watching closely every move she made. The first challenge was physical, a test of strength and agility across floating platforms and crystal towers. Lyra ran, jumped, and climbed with precision, her human muscles working faster than the aliens expected. Some gasped in surprise, others muttered in disbelief, as she navigated obstacles that seemed impossible. Even the chief tilted his wings, watching closely, realizing that humans were stronger than their legend suggested. Next came the intellectual challenge, a puzzle of energy streams and floating symbols. The aliens expected her to fail, their eyes full of doubt and scorn. Lyra studied the puzzle carefully, remembering the training humans received in logic and reasoning. With a few simple calculations and quick thinking, she solved the puzzle before the aliens could even finish. The crowd murmured in astonishment, whispers turning to admiration for the human who dared to challenge them. Even the skeptical alien males had to pause, their claws tapping nervously against the platforms. Lyra smiled slightly, knowing she had begun to earn their respect. Captain Eric nodded subtly, proud but cautious, knowing there was one final test ahead. The last trial was moral and strategic, a simulation of a crisis where she had to make life or death decisions. A group of alien drones threatened a section of the city, and she needed to act quickly. Lyra assessed the situation, balancing risk and safety, deciding to redirect the drones rather than destroy them. Her plan worked perfectly, saving the citizens and preventing chaos, earning shocked looks from all present. The aliens could not deny what they had seen, their judgment faltering in the face of human ingenuity. Some of the once mocking males bowed slightly, acknowledging her skill and courage. A few females smiled with admiration, whispering among themselves about the extraordinary human before them. Lyra felt a warmth in her chest, knowing she had proven that humans were more than they seemed. Captain Eric stepped forward, raising a hand to calm the crowd. "This human has shown courage, intelligence, and heart beyond what we expected," he said. The chief of the council looked at Lyra carefully, wings spread wide, a rare sign of respect. "You have passed the trials," he declared, "and shown us the value of humans among us." The crowd erupted into chatter, some cheering quietly, others still hesitant but clearly impressed. Lyra exhaled, relief and pride mingling, knowing the laughter and rejection of the past were fading. She looked at Captain Eric, gratitude shining in her eyes. Together, they had faced the trials, and together, they had begun to change the hearts of an alien world. The journey was not over, she knew, but this victory was hers, and humans would never be underestimated again. The spark of respect had been lit, and soon, admiration would follow. Lyra lifted her head high, ready to face whatever came next. For she had learned that courage, intelligence, and a human heart could triumph over ridicule and fear. The final day of the trials arrived, the skies of Zorath 9 glowing in soft gold and violet. Lyra stepped into the center of the ceremonial grounds, her heart steady and her mind clear. The alien crowd was larger than ever, their eyes fixed on her, curiosity and anticipation mixing in the air. She had faced ridicule, rejection, and countless challenges, but now she stood strong and confident. Captain Eric stood beside her, his hand brushing gently against hers, a silent reminder of trust. The chief of the council floated forward, his shimmering wings casting long shadows across the crowd. He looked at Lyra with a rare expression of awe, wings slightly lifted in approval. "Lyra of Earth," he said, "you have proven yourself beyond all doubt. Human courage and ingenuity are remarkable." The alien males who had laughed at her once now bowed their heads in respect. Some whispered among themselves, marveling at how a human could achieve what they thought impossible. Even the young males who had mocked her gestures now studied her with quiet admiration. Lyra felt a warmth in her chest, a mixture of pride, relief, and joy. The few aliens who had quietly supported her before stepped forward, smiling and offering gestures of friendship. For the first time, she felt fully accepted, not just tolerated, but respected. The crowd's tension lifted, replaced by a new feeling of unity and wonder. Humans had shown that courage, cleverness, and heart could bridge worlds, even alien ones. Captain Eric turned to her, his eyes full of pride and encouragement. "You did it, Lyra," he said softly. "You showed them who humans really are." She smiled, feeling the strength of human resilience and the power of standing tall despite adversity. Together, they faced the aliens, not as weak outsiders, but as beings capable of changing the world. The chief of the council raised his arms, signaling the crowd to honor her. Lyra stepped forward, bowing slightly in gratitude, a gesture that the aliens recognized as noble. Cheerful clicks and sounds filled the air, some subtle, some loud, as the aliens celebrated her success. She had turned humiliation into triumph, ridicule into respect, and doubt into admiration. The young males who had mocked her earlier approached, offering nods of acknowledgement. One of them even extended a claw in friendship, a sign that their view of humans had changed forever. Lyra's heart swelled with pride, knowing that she had made a difference. The laughter of the past seemed distant now, powerless against the victory of courage and heart. Captain Eric smiled, and together they looked out over the alien city. The floating towers, the glowing platforms, and the vast skies all seemed brighter now. Lyra knew this was only the beginning, but she had shown the universe that humans could rise. And with courage, intelligence, and a strong heart, humans could triumph even in worlds beyond their own. The crowd continued to celebrate, but Lyra only saw the truth she had proven. That humans, no matter how laughed at or underestimated, could inspire or change minds. And as she stood there, proud and unafraid, she knew that Earth's first human prototype had made her mark. A legacy of courage, hope, and the unstoppable power of the human spirit.